Hello everyone, my name is Piercy PJ Bastiani, and we're going to be talking to you today about Agile government at a Superfund shipyard. We're going to be analyzing the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard's remediation project, and we'll be providing my recommendations for an Agile cleanup with safety and transparency to restore public trust. And so I have four main recommendations. First and foremost, there needs to be an adoption of a 72-hour notification rule for any soil, air, soil, or water sample above the action level, which automatically alerts the San Francisco Department of Public Health, the Port of San Francisco, and the Hunters Point Citizens Advisory Committee, along with relevant community channels. Second, create parcel level cross-functional cleanup teams that include the U.S. Navy's base realignment and closure, which is led by Michael Pound, again, SFDPH, Port of San Francisco, Hunters Point Shipyard Committee, independent scientists, and the community liaison with authority to pause work and speak jointly to residents. And this handout that I'm gonna have passed out around is part of creating that real-life cross-functional cleanup team through the JTI Superfund training initiative, which will allow local San Francisco residents to get trained in the HAZWRPR certification, which is necessary to actually conduct the work at the shipyard. And that was part of my handout for everybody. Please share. Thirdly, is to require an independent third-party verification and public release of all radiological and key chemical data with clear, trust, and speed-focused metrics posted on a public dashboard. And then lastly, to pilot a community co-design phytoremediation plots, which are including sunflower corridors where appropriate, as short cleanup sprints with defined goals, community participation, and published results. And so first and foremost, what is the real impact when we're talking about notifying the community whenever there's any kind of exposure? Faster alerts let residents and clinics make the necessary short-term decisions, like do we need to stay inside, do we need to adjust our outdoor activities, or even start wearing masks instead of finding out months later. It means that the SFDPH and the port staff can respond in real time to any of the threats that to not only their workers, but to the community along their business corridors. It also means there are predictable rules for the entire community, which will reduce anxiety and rumors when things like this come out without going through the proper channels. So I identified several of the Agile principles that apply here: mission, metrics, customer, and speed. But I'll go ahead and let you guys read because I know you're smart with all your degrees. This is the current Bayview BRAC's actual dust monitoring program in order to operate at the shipyard, where they use soil maintenance, they have air monitoring, and then they create durable covers of different types on all the different properties. So what happened was 11 months ago, in November 2024, the Navy had airborne plutonium exposure while they were doing their dust monitoring asphalt grinding, and failed to notify the Department of Public Health for 11 months. This is not how you do the work. And so that's why it's really important that we create these cross-functional cleanup teams, not just depending on the Navy or one of the Navy's contractors to do the real work. And what is that gonna mean for real people? That means we get to have accountability for Michael Pound, as well as bringing in the full capacity of DPH, the Port of San Francisco, the Citizens Advisory Committee, independent scientists and experts, the community, making sure that the dust is minimized, any noise or any radiological issues that come up are not just held within one department. It's everybody gets to find out together. The work can stop immediately if there's any exposure that comes up, and the residents get one message from one channel and not a mess of different things. I identified cross-functional teams, external networks, organizational leaders, and mission as some of the Agile principles that come with this particular recommendation. Now, this is a current breakdown of the Hunters Point Shipyard parcels, all broken into sections A through G, including some utility corridors. And so what happened in 2009 was that the Navy's contractor for the cleanup, Tetra Tech, was caught falsifying their soil testing data and the Navy had to go in there and redo all the work. They had to dig up all of the contaminated storm drains across multiple parcels. This is an example of Parcel B. And in order to reassess it, they had to get all the dirt out and strewn it across the entire shipyard and do a bunch of soil testing there. However, all that dirt out there, which could be exposed, is only being covered in chemical solvent or more rarely in paper tarp, which all of this being said is it's all completely exposed to the high winds of Hunters Point, which is again what happened with that airborne plutonium exposure. So it is very important that we require independent verification of all of the data, because what that's going to allow is for everybody to trust that the data is coming in correct, it's not being falsified, that it's accessible on a public dashboard for everybody to see. There isn't one clear dashboard for all of the metric systems outside of what the Navy provides to the public. And increasing the trust metrics. Again, I've identified evidence-informed solutions, metrics, persistence, and organizational leaders. As you can see here, these are the Navy's actual cleanup dates that they've continued to push back since 2004, breaking public trust. And so in conclusion, it is important that the Navy BRAC program implements the 72-hour rule. They build and empower Parcel teams, introduce data verification independently that's clear to the public, and champion phytoremediation plots of sunflowers and other plants. This is the site of the National Radiological Defense Laboratory, which decommissioned radioactive vessels after the atomic bomb test during Operation Castle. They did a lot of extensive nuclear testing over the 4 decades that it was in operation. It's the big reason why the shipyard is a Superfund now. And so what is phytoremediation? Sunflowers and other plants that can absorb heavy metals and radioactive material. On the left, that is a sunflower festival in Hartford, Connecticut. And this method was successfully used in Chernobyl, Ukraine. And as you can see, that is actually Ukraine, where they have a current war going on, but there are literally thousands of sunflowers still treating the land to this day. This is what works, and that is why we could take what is now a derelict wasteland and turn it into the future of the naval shipyard, which is clean energy, manufacturing, logistics, and defense, led through community interaction, community-led phytoremediation, and agile governance. Thank you very much.